Ethan Clarke was 17 when his own heart betrayed him. One moment he was sprinting down the basketball court, sneakers squealing against polished wood, the roar of his teammates in his ears. The next, the ball slipped from his fingers, and he crumpled to the floor. His last sight before darkness was the blinding gym lights and Coach Daniels shouting his name. The doctors called it a congenital defect, something lurking in his body since birth. He should have been dead, they said. But luck, or fate, intervened. Within hours, a perfect donor match was found. They told his parents the surgery went flawlessly. They told Ethan he was going to live. And for the first week, he believed them. 2 nights after coming home, Ethan woke up gasping. His chest felt tight, not in pain, but with an urgency, like his body wanted to move. He had dreamed of running through a narrow alley, chasing a shadow, the sound of his own heart hammering in his ears. At breakfast the next morning, his mother noticed he was pale and asked if he had slept. He lied, saying it was just a weird dream. His father chuckled, telling him dreams meant his body was recovering. But Ethan kept hearing the faint rhythm in his chest, steady, deliberate, like it wasn't just beating, but counting. By the second week, his appetite had changed. The boy who once lived on pizza now wanted meat, barely cooked. His mother wrinkled her nose as he cut into a steak, red juices pooling on the plate, and asked if he wanted it cooked more. No. This is perfect, he said, eating slowly, savoring every bite. His little sister Mia whispered that he was gross. He smiled at her, but it was not the smile she remembered. It was thinner, sharper. At school, his best friend Tyler noticed too. Over lunch, Tyler nudged him, asking if he was okay because he'd been so quiet. Ethan just said, I'm listening." When Tyler asked what to, Ethan tilted his head like he was hearing something far away and replied, "You wouldn't understand." A few days later, in the hallway, a freshman accidentally bumped into him. Ethan's hand shot out and gripped the boy's arm so hard the kid cried out. "Careful," Ethan said quietly. The boy pulled away, already bruising, and Tyler demanded to know what that was about. Ethan glanced at his hand like he didn't even remember grabbing him and said, "He was in my way." By the second month, Ethan began losing time. One evening, he found himself barefoot in the backyard, frost on the grass and mud on his hands. His mother came running out, asking what he was doing there. He said he didn't know, that he'd been in his room, and then he was outside. She tried to lead him in, saying he was freezing, but he said in a flat voice, "I'm not cold." At a follow-up appointment, Dr. Ramos examined his scans and frowned. "These vessels, there's more branching than expected," the doctor said. Ethan leaned forward and said, "So my heart's adapting." The doctor hesitated, explaining it was aggressive, almost like it was trying to integrate faster than normal. Ethan smiled. "That's good, right?" The doctor started to answer, but something in Ethan's gaze made him look away. By the third month, Mia heard him talking in his room late at night. She knocked, asking who he was talking to. Ethan opened the door just enough for his face to be hidden in shadow and said, "Just me." She said she'd heard another voice. He smiled faintly and replied, "You wouldn't like the answer." It was on the final night that everything ended. His parents were watching TV when they heard it, a wet, tearing sound from upstairs. They rushed into his room and froze. Ethan stood shirtless, chest heaving. The skin over his sternum bulged, veins spreading out like dark spiderwebs under his skin. His eyes were glazed, his lips moving as he whispered, "And not Ethan. Not anymore." His mother begged him to stop, calling him sweetheart. He looked at her like she was a stranger and said, "I don't know you." Then he moved, impossibly fast. By the time the police arrived, the room was a mess of blood and splintered wood. On the wall, written in a shaky, unfamiliar hand, were the words, "Thank you for giving me life again." The heart was never recovered.